KENS 5 Eyewitness News this morning starts now.
Nearly lost it, still dribbling. Parker with 2 to shoot. Just gets it off in time, and he banks it in. What a shot from Parker. Gets off his feet and puts San Antonio out of his fingers.
An incredible shot. Tony Parker gets it done in game 1. Now, the Spurs have home court advantage in the NBA Finals.
In enemy territory, silver and black among a sea of white. We tracked down Spurs fans in the American Airlines Arena last night.
Back home, the AT&T Center was rocking. Thousands show up to cheer on the Spurs on their home floor. Complete finals coverage coming up. And good morning. It's Friday, June 7th. I'm Mat Garcia.
And I'm Natalie Tejeda. Good morning to you. Happy Friday, everybody. You're waking up to KENS 5 Eyewitness News at 4:30. Man, what a way to kick off our weekend. Isn't that?
Did you stay up for it?
I have to admit I didn't. I just looked on the Silver and Black app. The first thing this morning, I rolled over and I looked over the Silver and Black app and I went, yes, what a way to wake up.
Paul, I stayed up for the whole thing, saw from beginning to finish, so I may have a few dark circles under my eyes. How about you? Good morning.
Good morning. Yep.
And what a game last night. The Spurs steal game 1 and home court advantage from the defending champs.
And speaking of steals, Tony Parker also stole the show, but all the big players came up big too. Joe Reinagle is in Miami. He has all the post-game reaction. Okay, so do you want to attend Game 3 of the NBA Finals for free? We're giving away 2 pairs of tickets. All you have to do is like KENS 5 on Facebook and enter to win. As you might expect, this is just for a limited time, so don't wait. And a small but faithful army of Spurs fans made it to the American Airlines Arena last night. Among the crew, one of the Big Three's mom. She was there to cheer on her son. Marvin Hurst was there and has that story. And take a good look. Do you recognize these people? Details about why police are looking for them coming up. 441, 74 degrees now. School board members for Southside ISD placed Superintendent Juan Hasso on administrative leave. They made the decision in a 4-2 vote last night. He has been with the district since June of 2006. The board also voted to offer the interim superintendent position to Ricardo Vela. Vela is the district's former superintendent for business who resigned from the district about a year ago. Also caught on camera, 2 crooks ripping off a department store. Now police want your help to catch them. Police say the theft happened back on May 21st. The video shows this man and this woman stealing merchandise from Macy's at North Star Mall. They took off in a dark blue Chevy Impala, possibly a 2007 model. San Antonio police are asking anyone with information about the crime to give them a call at 207-7273. Coming up, 2 children's only hope is to survive as a lung transplant. Now a judge is giving them a second chance. Details coming up. Also in Dallas, a 911 operator has been fired after allegedly posting racist remarks on her Facebook page. Supervisors at the 911 call center say they found derogatory comments about African Americans and Hispanics on the Facebook page of April Sims. One post appears to compare African Americans to animals, while another mocks an emergency call for domestic violence. The Dallas Police Department says Sims was let go for violating terms of the department's social media policy. One official says the incident embarrasses the city.
Number one, I'm shocked, and it saddens me to know that this is going on and it's still taking place in today's time, especially here at 911.
Dallas police do screen social media when hiring police officers, but not 911 operators. 4:57 now. One thing is clear in San Antonio: age does not matter when it comes to being a Spurs fan.
Yeah, meet Lenore Lopez. She is 100 years young. Let's have a picture of her. And she claims to be the biggest Spurs fan in all of San Antonio. Lenore never misses a game. Well, her usual routine for every game, she takes out her big Spurs ball, then sets it next to her. She puts on her Manu shirt and her cute hair bow, and then sits down to watch the game.
Aw, look at her Spurs spirit. Gotta love it.
She is awesome. I bet you she could tell you all sorts of Spurs stories there, Paul.
No, probably so. I need to get I don't know, some of her spirit too. I guess.
I saw Myra.
Maybe she's got enough to go around. Is what
Some
I'm
of her
saying.
Spurs lore.
She's got enough to go around, I guess.
It is 4:58. That's it for 4:30. We're gonna have a lot more coming up. Straight ahead.
Ken's 5 All Eyewitness News this morning starts now.
Nearly lost it, still dribbling. Parker with 2 to shoot. Just gets it off in time, and he banks it in. What a shot from Parker.
You can't get enough of that. Tony Parker gets it done, and the Spurs take game 1 of the finals.
In enemy territory and among a sea of white, we tracked down Spurs fans in American Airlines Arena last night.
And Spurs fever in San Antonio, from the watch party at the AT&T Center to the Spurs River Parade for the finals. We have it all covered for you. Good morning on this Friday, June 7th. I'm Mat Garcia.
And I'm Natalie Tejeda in for Sarah this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Those and all of our top stories coming up. But first, we've got to talk about the weather, because Paul is telling us it's going to be not nearly as hot today as it's been all week long. That's some good news.
Yeah, pretty good news. I mean, Natalie, is there anything we need to worry about out there on the roadways?
You know, we're fortunate we're not starting off with any accidents, but just a reminder, we're going to have a really big closure on I-10 eastbound this weekend from De Zavala to the Hebner area. They're working on some restriping and some moving of some concrete barriers. It's a small stretch, about a half a mile stretch of the interstate that's going to be shut down, but it's going to be pretty intensive, and it's going to be a big headache for a lot of people. This starts at 9 p.m. this evening and continues all the way through Monday morning at 5 a.m. So we're going to be talking about this all morning long. In the meantime, let's take a quick check outside on a few of our TransGuide cameras right in the downtown area, looking nice and clear. And then a real quick check over at 10 and Vance Jackson, also looking nice and clear. Matt. And the San Antonio Spurs steal game 1 of the finals.
Yeah, here's how they did it. Tony Parker's play of the day was a desperate jumper on a broken play with just 5.2 seconds left in the game. Yeah, Tim Duncan overcame a slow start to finish with 20 points and 14 rebounds, and the Spurs withstood LeBron James's triple-double to beat the Miami Heat. Final score, 92-88. Parker ended up with 21 points after referees reviewed his shot to make sure it just beat the buzzer. It almost seemed like they were trying to find a way to pull that shot back and not give it to the Spurs. But it went in, and we won. A small but faithful army of Spurs fans made it to the American Airlines Arena last night.
That's right, and among the crew, was the mother of one of the big three. Our Marvin Hurst was there and tells us that she was there to cheer on her son. And of course, it wouldn't be a celebration in San Antonio without a river parade, and that's exactly what fans did yesterday. Spurs fans came to the Riverwalk decked out in silver and black. One fan even made one of the most elaborate Spurs sombreros we have ever seen. Floats sporting "Drive for 5" banners made their way down the river as fans cheered them on. All right, 508, 73 degrees coming up. A motorcyclist says he was run off the road in San Antonio because he was wearing a LeBron James jersey. And good Friday morning to you. Congratulations on making it to the weekend. Really looking nice for us out there on the roadways. Not dealing with any accidents just yet, but we are going to deal with some pretty severe construction problems, especially if you head eastbound on 10 this morning out there on the roadways and this weekend. Closure 10 eastbound from De Zavala to Hebner. This is going to be a relatively small stretch. We're talking about a half a mile stretch, basically just past De Zavala and just west of Hebner. That little small stretch where you're going to be rerouted off onto the frontage road. It's going to start Friday at 9 p.m., continue through Monday at 5 a.m. And again, you're going to be detoured to the frontage road and then be able to get right back on. They're just working to do some restriping in the area and move some concrete medians, but do expect some severe delays in and around the area as people work to basically go from 3 to 4 lanes down to 1 and then off onto the frontage road and merge with traffic on the frontage road. So we'll be talking about this all morning long. And again, this is the start of a lot of construction work that's going to be happening in and around that area throughout the summer. Send over to Paul now to look at our forecast. 517, 73 degrees. The San Antonio Fire Department has a friendly wager with the Miami-Dade Fire Department. If the Spurs win the NBA Finals, Chief Downey and his executive staff from Miami-Dade have agreed to wear SAFD shirts on duty for one business day and take a picture in front of one of their trucks. Should the unthinkable happen, Chief Hood and his command staff would wear MDFR shirts and do the same. And speaking of Miami, Tropical Storm Andrea came ashore bringing heavy winds, rain, and even tornadoes in the area. Now it's moving northeast over Georgia, the Carolinas, and it's headed for Virginia. The damage in Florida stretched from the Big Bend area along the Gulf Coast to Jacksonville along the Atlantic seaboard. The most severe damage in Florida came from tornadoes. Paul, is Miami going to see any more rain from Andrea, or has the storm already passed?
They may see a little bit more rainfall, but there's a satellite imagery of what's going on. All right, Natalie, what's going on?
Well, things are getting a little bit busier out there, dealing with a minor accident over at 1604 at Braun. This one happened just a few minutes ago, so be a little bit cautious if you're headed eastbound this morning over on 1604. Taking a look outside in a few of our TransGuide cameras in a different section of town over on 35 at Topperwine. This is just a little bit inside 1604 on 35. Not yet seeing that heavy congestion. We'll expect 35 a little bit later in the morning. And looking a little bit closer towards the downtown area, 90 over at 36th Street, looking pretty good for us this morning. Matt. 522, 73 degrees. Coming up, how you can get free coffee and donuts today. Okay, so today you can get a lot of free goodies on your way to work.
That's right, along with a free cup of Joe at Valero because of the Spurs win. Yeah, you can get one today. You can get a free donut at Dunkin' Donuts in honor of National Donut Day. They go hand in hand. You can get your free donut of your choice while the supplies last with a purchase of any beverage.
And also in honor of National Donut Day, Dunkin' Donuts is debuting their donut breakfast sandwich, which features a fried egg and strips of bacon in between a sliced donut. But let's just preface, Dunkin' Donuts is not giving out those Dunkin' Donut sandwiches for free. Okay, Krispy Kreme, time for you to step up your game.
I don't know. I'll pass on that sandwich, though.
You'll pass on that sandwich?
Yeah.
I don't
know. Donut with the egg and
about that.
bacon.
But,
I heard a comedian one time saying, what about a donut, like a ham sandwich in a donut or a hamburger in a donut, something like that?
Well, that's the closest thing, I guess.
Pretty close to it, I guess, yeah.
I don't know.
So, anyway, hey, if you want to bring some donuts, man.
Yeah, I know. We'll take a
We
few
can
donuts.
always use those, especially after a late night for you and I.
Oh, exactly. I'm not responsible for anything I say today, by the way.
All right, well, hold the phone. Ken's 5 is giving away free tickets to the Spurs' first home game of the NBA Finals. That's right. We're giving away 2 pairs of tickets. All you have to do is like Ken's 5 on Facebook and enter to win. As you might expect, this is just for a limited time. So don't delay if you want to go to the home game, and that is first one is next Tuesday. Don't miss out on anything dealing with the Spurs. Download the Silver and Black app. It features the latest schedule, score stats, and even some play-by-play features. The app is free. Search for it in the App Store now.
That's exactly what I used this morning to find out the status of the game. But stay with us, both on air and online. Ken's 5 has your coverage of all the NBA Finals. We're going to continue to bring you live coverage from Miami as the Spurs prepare to take on the Heat Sunday night.
All right, and today we're watching just a slight chance for a thunderstorm later on, 20% chance, otherwise highs close to 90.
I'm really excited at the 89. I don't know, it just when I see temperatures below 90, it just makes me happy.
It's good.
I think we use some rain.
A little
All
below
right,
average.
we're going to be right back.
5 Eyewitness News this morning starts now.
Nearly lost it, still dribbling. Parker with 2 to shoot. Just gets it off in time, and he banks it in. What a shot from Parker. Gets off his feet.
It's the play of Game 1. Let's just say that. And the shot that secured the victory for the Spurs.
Oh, reaction from the Spurs locker room after the game.
And the big viewing party at the AT&T Center. The electricity from inside the arena and where you can get tickets to the next or the first home game. Good morning on this Friday, June 7th. I'm Mat Garcia.
And I'm Natalie Tejeda. Those are some of the top headlines of the morning, but we're going to get to all of our news in just a minute. But first, Feels nice outside. I feel warm and fuzzy on the inside because of the Spurs win,
but you know what? Even though it's been hot, we are cooling down the heat. Not just in Miami, but here.
That's right.
Paul, we're talking about a possible chance of rain.
All right, Natalie, we're going to run into any trouble out there on the roadway?
Starting to get a little bit busier out there on the roadways. We're dealing with one minor accident over here on the far northwest side over at 1604 and Braun. Again, if you're headed eastbound over on 1604, this one could slow you up just a little bit. Looking outside on a few of our TransGuide cameras this morning, 410 over at Babcock, starting to see a few more cars make their way both eastbound, westbound, and then a little bit further over at 410 and 35. It's also starting to get a little busier as well. All right, the San Antonio Spurs win Game 1 of the playoffs.
Yeah, what a game. Watched every bit of it. Tony Parker's play of the day was a desperate jumper on a broken play with just 5.2 seconds left in the game. Parker ended up with 21 points after referees reviewed his shot to make sure it just beat the clock. Well, Tim Duncan overcame a slow start to finish with 20 points and 14 rebounds. And the Spurs withstood LeBron James' triple-double to beat the Miami Heat. Final score, 92-88, and we cannot see that shot from Tony Parker enough.
Oh, yeah, 5:33, 73 degrees, and we can't say it enough. What a game last night with the Spurs stealing home court advantage from the defending champions, the Miami Heat.
That's right. Tony Parker stole the show, as we said, but the role players came up big, too. Joe Reinagel is in Miami. He has our post-game reaction.
And this was a lot of fun. Spurs fans cheered on an elephant who stomped the Heat at San Antonio Zoo.
Let's get a little bit louder. Go, Spurs,
go! Check that out. The elephant smashed a watermelon with "Beat the Heat" painted on it. Each game day during the NBA Finals, various animals in the zoo will show their Spurs spirit by bashing food emblazoned with the Miami Heat's logo. And a pair of the cutest Spurs fans in San Antonio meet twins Duncan and Parker and the story behind their names. Aww. And good morning to you out there, the good Friday morning. Let's talk about what's happening out there on the roadways. Dealing with a minor accident over at 1604 and Braun this morning. And if you're headed eastbound over on 1604, you could get a little bit of a problem as you're heading towards that State Highway 16 Bandera Road area, so you want to give yourself just a few extra minutes. Taking a quick check outside on a few of our TransGuide cameras, 410 at Babcock, starting to see a little more congestion building both eastbound and westbound on 410, as well as a little bit further over 410 and Austin Highway. As you're approaching that 410-35 interchange, you could also see a little bit more congestion as well, so give yourself a few extra minutes. Okay, Paul, I'm sending it your way because you're talking maybe a little bit of rain, and you're also talking a little bit of a cool down, so I'm wondering, are we going to hold off on summer just a little bit?
No.
Aw, breaking my heart.
Yeah, no. The answer is no.
5:45 right now. A case of road rage leads to a fatal accident here in San Antonio.
Brix Fowler is live with the latest. Good morning, Brix. Governor Perry has just signed a disaster declaration for Bexar County. The declaration clears the way for victims of the Memorial Day flooding to qualify for low-interest, long-term loans. More than 200 Bexar County homes were damaged in the flood.
All right, Natalie, what do we got going on this morning?
It's starting to pick up quite a bit out there on the roadways. Again, still dealing with this accident over here at 1604 and Braun this morning. So if you're headed eastbound, give yourself a couple of extra minutes. And then getting reports of a relatively new accident, pretty major one over at 10 and Medical. And again, this is just a little bit outside of Loop 410 and real close to Callahan in that area. Also, just a reminder, going to be dealing with some pretty major construction that starts tonight at 9 p.m. A closure of 10 eastbound, a complete closure from in between De Zavala and Huebner. And this is small, about a half-mile stretch of this area, but what they're going to do is they're going to push everybody off onto the frontage road. Starts tonight at 9 p.m. and goes through Monday at 5 a.m. so they can do some restriping work and move some concrete barriers. This is the start of a pretty major project all in this area that's going to last for a majority of the summer, so do expect some closures off and on throughout the summertime. Matt. Well, 7 active Marines, 7 former Marines, and a Navy sailor were among 50 people arrested in a sweeping Southern California raid. Authorities there shut down a network that allegedly dealt in stolen cars, drugs, weapons, and other military gear. The operation was codenamed Operation Perfect Storm. 92 stolen vehicles were recovered.
All right, 73 degrees right now, and coming up, meet one of the oldest Spurs fans in San Antonio.
And she's 100 years young and still bleeding black and silver. Well, 5:54, 73 degrees. One thing is clear here in San Antonio: age does not matter when it comes to being a Spurs fan.
Actually helps. Meet Lenore Lopez. She is 100 years young. Does she look good? She claims to be the biggest Spurs fan in all of San Antonio.
That's fantastic. Well, from the oldest to the youngest, a set of twin brothers, Duncan and Parker, are sporting Spurs onesies for the Spurs games. They were both born at North Central Baptist about 17 months ago. Apparently, their parents met when they were working at the AT&T Center back in 2007. That was the last time the Spurs won a championship.
Now, the only thing better than this story is if they both grow up into be incredible Spurs players later down the line.
Well, we can hope. Let's hope that they make it a little bit taller than maybe like 5'5". All right, get excited because Ken's 5 is giving away free tickets to the Spurs' first home game of the NBA Finals. We're giving away not 1, but 2 pairs of tickets, and they're pretty good seats. All you have to do is like Ken's 5 on Facebook and enter to win. As you might expect, it's just for a limited time, so don't delay. Do it right now.
And don't miss out on anything dealing with the Spurs in the finals. Download the Silver and Black app. It features the latest schedules, score stats, and even some play-by-play features. The app is free. Search for the Silver and Black in the App Store now.
All right, let's talk about our friends in Miami right now. They got hit with some rain last night at the game.
Yeah, they had a little bit of some rain, but they're going to see a little bit more today. Not going to be a big deal for them, I don't think.
What about us?
20% chance for us today.
That would be nice.
High temperature about 89 degrees.
Anything to cool us down a little bit would be good. And so it's 5:56. We're going to be right back with the 6 o'clock hour. Don't go away.